Hi guys, Banexel here, and I know I'm a bit late on this, but I thought I just wanted to get my opinion out there on the recent announcement, the Pokemon Presents, where they announced the Sinnoh remakes. So first thing they announced was, I'll get this out of the way because I don't have any thoughts on it. Some more gameplay on new Pokemon Snap, some new features. I'm not really too bothered about Pokemon Snap, to be honest. It looks good. That's all we have to say on it. I didn't know there was actually a storyline to Pokemon Snap, but apparently there is. So yeah, that's great. So let's get on to the main parts then. So now I'll talk about what was the main attraction going into the Pokemon Presents. Obviously the Sinnoh remakes. So we got revealed the name at the end: Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Pokemon Shining Pearl. Now, the most controversial part of the trailer was the art style. So, rather than the normal 3D art style that they've used for the last few games, they've gone for more like a short, sort of like smaller look. It sort of resembles the sort of a 3D version of the 2D games, more than like a full-on attempt at a 3D game, which I think is fine. I quite like the art style, to be honest. Partially because I don't think 3D added too much to Pokemon, really, especially not in the overworld, because no one's buying a Pokemon game for the art style. Let's just face it. Especially not a main series game. Always something like Pokemon Snap, yeah, the art style comes into it, because that's the whole point of that game. Pokemon's never really been for that. I also quite liked the 2D games, because I felt like, I don't know, I think they just worked better. So obviously we don't know how these art styles are going to work, because, well, the game's not out yet. We've only seen little snippets, bits of the trailer. Because I think the best thing an art style can do is support the gameplay and the world building in that. You want it to make you feel like you want it to make the world feel right, the storyline feel good. It needs to help the storyline, or at least not take away from it. So obviously most horror games use a dark, gritty art style, because that helps with the horror vibe they're trying to build. So for Pokemon, an art style say Pong, well that wouldn't be very good for anything these days, but say an art style for the Half-Life art style or the Skyrim art style, those wouldn't really work for Pokemon. They could, but you'd have to change a bloody lot. Whereas I think at the minute these look like they'd work for Pokemon, in my opinion. Obviously they need to be tweaked. They do look, I think they need to look a bit less babyish, sort of, or maybe a bit more angular. I'm not sure, because it's easy to, because it's something about the face for me. I don't know whether it's just what we saw in the trailer and it's actually fine, I don't know, but there's something weird about the face to me. Well, I think it's the face, because it's always easy to notice when something looks off. It's a little bit harder to pinpoint exactly what looks off, because I've seen a lot of other people saying they've got a problem with the body. I don't really see the downside of that specific part of it. One bit that I want to specify of why I think it needs tweaking, because obviously I think it might look fine for the most of the game, but as I said with it needs to help the story, I think it won't fit for the serious parts of the game. When Cyrus is rambling on and about destroying the world or whatever the fuck he's on about, seeing him look like the current art style might be a little bit off-putting, and I think maybe a similar thing with when you go into Elite Four and Champion, because I assume they're keeping Elite Four, because that makes sense. Yeah, I think it would just look a bit weird. You're walking in this grand hall and then you just see Cynthia looking like a fucking 3-year-old. We didn't see the box arts. They didn't show Dialga or Palkia whatsoever. So as for obviously one of the big things people are thinking is, are Dialga and Palkia going to have new forms? Because like in the Gen 3 remakes, Kyogre and Groudon obviously got their Palmer versions, and Rayquaza got a Mega. And there's also been no mention of Dynamax whatsoever, so we don't know if Dynamax are coming back. I'm not sure, because I'm not sure how that would fit into Sinnoh lore. I've seen people saying it could fit in technically, but I think it'd be a bit of a stretch. And people are still speculating whether Megas are coming back. Again, I'm still not sure that they will be coming back. I'd like them to come back because of the recent gimmicks. It is my favourite and the overwhelming favourite within the fan base. But we've not seen any specific evidence as to them coming back. Like no major hints for anything. So as far as we know at the minute, the games are gimmickless. Well, gimmickless by that standard. Of course, like, most things could be a gimmick. The fact that it's a remake of a previous game could be considered a gimmick, but yeah, we don't know if it's even going to differ that much from the original Gen 4 games. Hopefully it'll differ at least a bit, but again, nothing's been confirmed so far. So finally, the last thing that was, well, the last big thing that was announced in the trailer was a game called Pokemon Legends Arceus, and it's sort of it's like open world sort of Pokemon game. It's set like in the Sinnoh region years before Diamond and Pearl. I'm not sure how long before. I'm not sure if it's specified. But basically, it's based in ancient Sinnoh, so it's got like the sort of vibe of sort of feudal Japan, sort of. So anyway, one of the main things was it's sort of like an open world game. So like, it's sort of like they made the wild area from Sword and Shield into its own game, but I think it's got better graphics and everything. It's sort of like Breath of the Wild-esque. I'm not sure it's quite up to Breath of the Wild standards, but yeah, the reception for it's been pretty damn positive. Of course, there's probably still, as with pretty much everything in the trailer, there's probably going to still be edits made. Yeah, the speculation, I don't think it was confirmed, but speculation is that the protagonists in the game are meant to be ancestors of the Sinnoh protagonists, so Lucas and Dawn. So, because obviously they look a lot like Lucas and Dawn, so that's obviously probably what they were going for, unless they just got lazy and reused the models. I really like the female trainer's sprite because it looks like Dawn without looking exactly like Dawn. So you can tell it's a different character. The male sprite does look pretty much exactly like Lucas, but again, that's not a major point. Maybe it's just like strong genes or whatever. I don't fucking know. I don't think that's scientifically accurate, but I don't fucking care. So now I think the 3 starters that they chose were Rowlet, Cyndaquil, and Oshawott. So I'm quite happy with that selection, personally. I've seen people saying, oh, they should have done this and this instead. Each of them does have an explanation as to why they'd be in there, because they've got some sort of connection to like feudal Japan. Obviously, Decidueye's an archer, Samurot's a samurai. Typhlosion's connection is a little less obvious, but someone's figured it out. You can just Google it. I can't bother to explain it. I've seen people saying like, oh, they should have had Greninja instead of Samurott, or they should have had like Charizard instead of Typhlosion, because they make more sense. Well, I'm glad Oshawott and Cyndaquil specifically are in it, because obviously Cyndaquil's my favourite Pokemon. I'm obviously going to be glad that the Cyndaquil's in it. Oshawott, again, is a fan favourite, and I do like Oshawott quite a bit too. Samurott a little less so, but I like Oshawott and Cyndaquil basically. And another thing is that they don't really get much attention anymore. Because obviously Rowlet, it's not as much of a problem because Rowlet's just like last gen. So Rowlet's not been out the spotlight terribly long. Whereas like Cyndaquil and Oshawott, the Gen 2 and Gen 5 starters rarely get any attention these days. Because last time Gen 2 starters got any attention was Heart Gold, Soul Silver, and that was over a decade ago. And I don't see them getting any more attention anytime soon, because obviously we probably won't get Gen 2 remakes again. It will be interesting to see how if they ever do like a second batch of remakes, which would be a bit weird, considering that would probably end up with them doing a loop of like doing a remake of a game every 20 years, which would be a bit naff, but yeah. But I don't think we're ever gonna get another Johto game, or at least another main series game. There have been talks about a Let's Go Johto, which I didn't find the Let's Go games all that interesting, to be honest. But yeah, I do think I am glad Cyndaquil's in there. Same with Gen 5, they don't get as much attention. They probably are going to get attention soon, because Gen 5's right after Gen 4, so in about 5 years or so, it'll probably be getting remakes. It'll be interesting to see how they do Gen 5 remakes, seeing as that they have Black and White as well as Black and White 2 in the same generation. So it'll be interesting to see how they handle that. But yeah, I am glad they're in. And I'm glad that they did make Legends Arceus a separate game. Like, make the Wild Area a separate game, because I think it would be a bit forced to just try and force a Wild Area somewhere in the Sinnoh region. Because my memory of Sinnoh isn't the best, but I can't think of a place where it would really fit, to be honest. I also sort of bought the overworld Pokemon out, because in the main series games I liked the traditional you have to run around the grass to find them, but I do like the overworld as a concept, because I don't think I like it in the game as much, because I like the sort of mystery of what you're getting. I don't know, maybe it's just because that's what I grew up with, but so I like that they brought it out, and it seems, I'm not sure how the gameplay is going to work yet, because there were rumours of a game prior to the trailer about a game called Pokemon Let's Go Catching from quite reputable leakers, or something to do with Pokemon Let's Go Catching, which could be what Pokemon Legends Arceus turned out to be. And my final point on it is that with Arceus getting its own game, what does that mean for Arceus being in the remakes? Because of course you might know that Arceus wasn't in Diamond, Pearl or Platinum. It was meant to be in an event, but the event was scrapped because it was apparently too complicated. They don't really need Arceus as much in the main series remakes, because they do have Sinnoh does have a fuck ton of legendaries, especially compared to previous generations. Like obviously, like Kanto and Johto had very few legendaries each. They had about I think Kanto had about 5, Johto had about 4. So no wait, Johto had 6. Yeah, but anyway, point is, there's quite a few. So obviously Giratina could take Arceus' slot as a post-game legendary. But yeah, it would still be nice to see Arceus in there somewhere. As for my review on Pokemon Legends Arceus, so far, as of what we know, 10 out of 10 because they gave Cyndaquil his arse fire back. Also, I do just want to mention that I did technically predict a prequel where we revisit another region. That's all it was. It was nothing even remotely similar to what Pokemon Legends Arceus actually turned out to be, but I'm going to go over it anyway. So yeah, that's my sort of like review of the Pokemon Presents, or the main things from it. Yeah, I'm late, definitely late. But yeah, I just felt like doing this anyway. So thank you for watching. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. Bye.